welcome to the show, everybody. This is Tennessee WidCast, TWRA's weekly podcast show. Jason Harmon right here. I'm Doug Markham.
How's it going, Doug?
It's going great because it's fall.
It's deer season.
It's deer season for a lot of folks. It's fishing season almost again. You know what I mean? At least the water temperatures are going to start getting a little better later for those of us who don't get in the woods.
There's some good fishing in the fall.
There's some great fishing in the fall. And we're going to have a lot of great ideas for y'all today on how to get outside with some events that TWRA offers, been offering for years. We'll introduce our guest in a minute. But it's your chance to get you outside, possibly you outside, certainly your kids outside. Mm-hmm. And then we have some other folks that we'll talk about that there's some hunts coming up just for them and other events, so many other events.
Yeah.
Anyway, speaking of coming up, we're in the deer season.
Yep, fall deer season.
And so we got a long way to go to the end of October, almost to the end of October for archery only season. And we were talking before the show started, you can go out and get what else during the fall turkey hunt? I mean, the fall deer hunt. Darn,
you can get you a turkey.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, just check your guide. You can get you a turkey during the fall.
You can.
During the fall season.
Yeah, set up and get you a turkey, and if you go get you a deer. And remember, we're talking about it every week. If you haven't checked out the guide yet or our website yet, you got to remember that we have a new definition on what is an antlered and antlerless deer.
Yep.
Right? Don't forget. And
we don't have pictures of that to show you at home, but if it breaks the skin, it's a buck.
And it's all over the website, and it's all over this thing right here. It's all in that right there.
Yep.
Just get a copy of the guide or go on our site and look at the electronic hunting guide. And if it protrudes above the hairline, it is a buck now. Mm-hmm. So be careful with what you're doing if you're one of those that likes to hunt bucks all year long.
Yep. And hey, if you kill you a nice buck or a doe, whatever, you can hashtag your photo TN Trophy Room. It will end up on our tag board, our Tennessee Trophy Room tag board. And it's that easy on any of your social media sites. You just post it to your own page, and it'll generate and end up on our tag board.
We're getting some good traffic out there, and we like it. We want to hear from all of y'all and put it out there. Tag it out there. Some good photographs going out there, too. What else you got before we go?
Look what's on the screen, Doug.
I'm afraid to. Oh, I'm scared to. Yeah. Look, this is a photograph we got the other day, and it was sent to us after it was verified as being a legitimate cougar in a county in Tennessee. It's Wayne County, which is down in southern middle Tennessee, where I like to go fish for smallmouth, or used to. But anyway, that is a cougar.
Watch your back, Doug.
Watch my back when I'm out there fishing now. That's a cougar, and we put this thing on our Facebook the other day, and it was after a couple of days. I think it'd gone to 500,000 people in a couple of days. So cougars are fascinating to people. But we do have them in Tennessee, and there's all kinds of commentary out there on the Facebook page about cougars. But we're not – some folks think that we have been denying that there's no cougars in Tennessee for decades.
Yeah.
And I've been one of those deniers, if that's what you want to call them. I've been saying and a lot of the guys that we work with have been saying, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, last year we finally got good evidence that there's cougars in Tennessee, and our biologists who are not alarmed about anything because they're biologists. They see these things have been migrating or expanding, rather, their range from out west for years. And believe it or not, we used to have native cougars in Tennessee. They were called eastern cougars. Now we have western cougars because people killed out the eastern cougar a long time ago. So the western's making its way back. And here's the disappointing thing to a lot of people that they don't want to believe. This is what a cougar looks like.
Yes, this right here.
This right there
was taken at the National Zoo.
Right.
Thanks to them for letting us come out and take some photos.
Todd went out there. I went out there. You went out there. We all went out and took a bunch of photos of a tawny-colored western cougar. And the things that people get mad at us about is that we tell them there's no black cougars because there's no documentation of black cougars. But there are black jaguars. And I will tell you, years ago, many years ago, when I first started the agency, there was a man that was an entertainer out in Ashland City, Tennessee, who had black jaguars as pets. And they got out. I bet our guest will remember that. They got out, and one of them, there was somebody killed in it, a baby killed in it, or a youngster, and there was another woman that got killed on the way home because she was excited about these cougars being out and maybe killing some of her cattle. It was an awful thing. But they were black. But they were jaguars, and according to Wally Cook, who works there now, there's no more of those big cats belonging to anybody anymore. They're all in zoos.
Right.
So there you go. That's what a cougar looks like. Right?
That's it.
Are you going to tell me that you saw a black one the other day?
No. It was just a house cat.
It was a house cat. Okay. All right. Where are we now? We ready to go and get Donald in here?
Let's introduce our guest. What do you say?
I think if we need to, so many people know Donald Hosse, also known as Don Hosse, that we might have to introduce him. But Don, thanks for being on the program.
Thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
You have been working here a long time, and you have done a zillion nice things for people with all this outreach stuff you do, and that's what we're going to talk to you about today. But when I first met you, I believe you were an officer, a wildlife officer for TWRA.
Yep. Probably the Davidson County officer.
And how long were you here at Davison before you?
I actually started my illustrious career in Shelby County.
Oh, you did?
Yep. South Shelby County for a year, then transferred. I'm native Williamson County. So got close to home, and I guess I was in Davidson County probably about 4 years.
Okay. So you were a wildlife officer in two of the bigger...
Yeah.
Almost, you were Mr. Metropolis, I guess.
Yeah, you get talking about painter calls and all that kind of good stuff. You get everything being a metropolitan officer.
And we don't want to make people mad at us. We just get a lot of these kind of calls.
No, and I agree too. You know, every single year, regardless of what county I was in, I got calls between bears and mountain lions and things like that. And I was the same thing. You know, until I see it, I'm not going to believe it. But you know, there's no disputing they're here.
Well, we are absolutely, and it's now that you saw on Facebook the other day, a lot of folks said they're just now admitting. We've been talking about this for a year now. You can go look on the website and see the sightings, and it's been going on for a year across the state, or not across the state, mostly in Middle Tennessee and West Tennessee portions of it. Yep. Donald, let's talk about the Beasley property. Let's get that photograph up there. You do so much outreach work, and you meet so many kind of people out there that are willing to help you do outreach work to get youngsters and women and wounded warriors and all involved in hunting and fishing and all that. One of the nice people you had is is it Tom Beasley?
Yep, correct.
And tell us about Mr. Beasley and what's going on in these photos and this property, this cool property that we were working with.
Yeah, pretty amazing deal. Mr. Beasley, you know, a great steward of the land and really avid with the land trust. And he bought the piece of property about 20 years ago. And from the get-go, he opened his doors. It was a little over 2,000 acres and let the agency pretty much have full reign on the habitat control and also a variety of, you know, hunting opportunities for the public. We've right now got over 40 different tree stands. We've got 5 wheelchair-accessible hunting houses. And I guess within the last few months, the agency actually acquired the property, so now it's the Buffalo Ridge Refuge. And through, you know, just the last, 18 years, there's been hundreds of kids have gotten their first deer. Thousands of women have gotten an opportunity to go muzzleloader hunting. We've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of wounded soldiers take part in getaway weekends. It's just been an awesome place. And to know that it's preserved now for our agency for the future, and plus we got a lot of great ideas on how we'd like to even perpetuate it and affect more people.
Well, let me back up a little bit because I messed up getting caught in the cougar thing again. After you became a wildlife officer, you got into this outreach position. Talk about that, and then we'll talk about where the Beasley property is. Sorry about that.
Yeah. That's what, I love being a wildlife officer, but kind of changed gears about 18, 20 years ago and moved to the national office and got into the wildlife education. And had a chance, start working with a lot of officers and other agency personnel and other, Wild Turkey Federation, Quail Forever, other nonprofit organizations, our foundation, to try to, find opportunities to get women and kids and pretty much anybody in the outdoors, especially the urban sprawl in Tennessee. It's a harder and harder thing to accomplish with sports and computers. But there's a ton of people that want to go, and, I feel very blessed to be able to do what I do and call it my job. Very
good. And we're going to give you an idea on how to get some of your kids and wounded warriors and the women involved here in a few minutes. But, Donald, we constantly are having to recruit folks or go get them. One, like you said, we got so much sprawl now and losing properties and all that. But the agency also depends on license holders. So you got a job that's neat and it's got good intention, but it's also a business.
Yeah. And I mean, that's our bread and butter are the sportsmen. We can't do it without the purchase of hunting and fishing license. There's no way. And it's, and like I said too, there's a lot of kids, coming from single parent homes, And, you know, I've even had fathers say, listen, I don't know why, but my son or my daughter is just, they want to go hunt. I was the same way. You know, my dad didn't hunt, and I was just lucky that a friend of mine, his father mentored me, and for some reason, that's all I want to do, you know, especially growing up. And, you know, and to be able to create these opportunities for these kids now, it's pretty awesome. And actually on our agency's website now, we've got on the same tract of property, we're going to be taking 35 kids.
Where is this track? I'm sorry, Don.
It's the Buffalo Ridge Refuge, and it's right there off exit 143 in Humphreys County.
Humphreys County.
Got an unbelievable deer herd there, tons and tons of deer, a lot of nice bucks too. We've actually run trail cameras and lots, you know, 130, 140, even 150 class deer running around.
Yeah.
But the thing we do for the kids, they got to be hunter ed certified, and they can have not ever harvested deer before. And so we got the application on our website. They can fill it out,
That right
get
there,
it back
Jason?
into
Thank
us.
you. Yeah.
And it's pretty awesome. We have a Friday night cookout and a big bonfire, and, you know, to have 35 plus kids there that have never gotten their first deer, the deer camp, the vibe, it's a neat thing. And I would, as long as we have, you know, decent weather the next morning or the next day, you know, typically I'd say 80% chance at least getting an opportunity. Whether they can pull it off is another deal. But out of those 35 kids, you know, probably 15 or so will get their first deer, which is a pretty neat thing to be a part of.
And real easy on our website. It's tnwildlife.org. We say it all the time. And then there's a menu out there at the top called Outreach.
Outreach,
And
yeah.
if you pull it down, and
Just
let's
for
also
kids.
just for kids, and let's show the other applications out there that Donald wanted to talk about beyond BOW Muzzleloader Workshop. Donald.
Yeah, and that was something too when I first took my job. You know, the Becoming Outdoors Woman program, which is an awesome, awesome thing that our agency's evolved with. We have events across the state. Our 3-day workshop up in Cross with the Clyde York 4-H Center. But it was one of these things that, you know, we have ladies that come to the workshop, you know, might want to be interested in backyard habitat or photography or something like that. And then they meet some ladies that just got off the range. You know, they may have never shot a firearm much before. And so they think, you know, next year I may sign up for a muzzleloader class. And so they'll go there and get to shoot, you know, everything on the Outdoor Woman program is hands-on. We want, if you sign up for four-wheelers, you're riding a four-wheeler. Same, you know, fly fishing, you're out there fly fishing. So these ladies, you know, they would go through, you know, 2 or 3 years at Outdoor Woman. They take an introductory deer hunting class. They've never hunted before. They take the muzzleloading class, you know, and then so now they want to go to the woods. So we helped develop a lot of these beyond BOW programs in which we're taking them a step further. And it's been pretty amazing. You know, we've had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that have been through this program. And, you know, to meet people that have never had this opportunity, get their first deer, we help, you know, show them how to field dress them. We'll help quarter them up. We'll give them ideas on how to prepare it and cook it. And, you know, it's just been an absolute blast. We have that particular workshop on November the 11th through the 13th. It costs $200, which includes your meals, and also you have a guide that takes you to your stand. You'll hunt, you know, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, and Sunday morning.
And this is Beasley property again?
Yeah, correct. And then the rut is kicking. It is awesome.
Well, that's about as good as it gets right there, Donald.
Yeah. I'm telling you, the leaves are turning, you know, and it's a great time. It really is.
It's a good time, but as much as you like to hunt, that must be kind of tough on you watching.
No, and you know, that's what born and raised, you know,
Yeah.
doing it, you know, and at this point in my life, you know, I would much rather introduce somebody and to see somebody, you know, I think about how special it was for me, you know, the first deer, the first duck or first turkey I called in, and to be able to help somebody perpetuate that, it's awesome.
You help with a lot of different people, Donald, and these are some of the events that you're spearheading yourself, and want to talk about more of those. But there are also wildlife officers and
Amen.
WMAs and stuff
Yeah,
that are holding
yeah.
stuff. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that's one thing too, you know, we started, I think, the youth deer hunts about 20 years ago, and actually Darren Ryder and me and some others in the fire hall up in Ashland City, you know, and we had some private farms to hunt and also 20,000 acres at Cheatham Wildlife Management Area. And it's been pretty incredible since the 20 years to see how many other agency personnel, officers, managers, technicians, you know, the whole gamut have stepped up. And, you know, I'm getting calls all the time, everything from, you know, wanting to take kids on a raccoon hunt, you know, predator hunts, to quail hunts, to you name it, deer hunts, turkey hunts, duck hunts, the whole 9 yards. I mean, everybody gets it. That, you know, if you been lucky enough, to hunt and fish in the great state of Tennessee, and to be able to make that opportunity for somebody else, that's where it's at.
Is our website right now, our website and our Facebook, that's the best way to find out about all this stuff that's
Correct.
going on? I know even our officers in the field, they advertise a lot on our website
Yeah,
and Facebook.
yeah, and a lot of these opportunities, like I said, just, the public go to the kids page and the outdoor calendars, a lot of them are doing youth. We had probably 10 or 15, youth-only dove hunts that were, for opening weekend and things like that. And a lot of these are coming about, just keep looking at our website, once a week or every other week, and it's going to show you where these opportunities are at.
And I know it's on this hunt coming up for these kids, you said must be hunter education certified. So Jason and I were talking about at the beginning, we have something called an apprentice license, but that doesn't qualify here, right? You've got to be certified.
Yes, we would like it where, these kids are going to have, the proper education. Of course, they're still going to have somebody 21 years or older to be with them also. But for this particular event, we would like for them to have the hunter ed certification.
That's a good deal. And as a former wildlife officer and what you do now, and we've had this discussion before, I think, with Randy Hussey, but what would you rather see them do, the traditional course, online course, or does it really matter to you?
I made my kids go through the traditional course. I think now, especially you look at what's encompassed in that hunter ed class, it's unbelievable. And me personally, I think they need to go through the traditional class and spend it's a big responsibility between, hunter ethics to, when you go afield and you're going to take it upon yourself to harvest an animal, to do it the proper way and the ethical way. And I'm kind of old school. Oh, I'm definitely old school.
I'm with you on that. All right, get into some other stuff, but we also have another group, Wounded Warriors.
Yeah.
That you, and am I using the right phrase there?
Nothing against the Wounded Warrior Project, but we pretty much wounded soldiers is what we call it.
Okay.
And that was another thing. Mr. Beasley, Tom Beasley, he was, a graduate of West Point, was in Special Forces in Vietnam.
Oh, wow.
Just a super neat guy. And we had been doing the deer hunts, and we'd had a few, the kids' hunts, several of those, and a couple of ladies' hunts. And with him being a veteran, he was and especially a Vietnam veteran, he realized, the importance of our soldiers, and then the appreciation, show them that you care about them. So about 15 years ago, with his military contacts, he approached us wanting to know if we'd like to do something for wounded soldiers, and of course, we definitely would. And out of everything I've had the privilege to do with the agency, that's the number one, honor for me, to actually do something for these men and women that have done everything for us. It's been absolutely awesome. We've done the deer hunt, turkey hunts. We even have one gracious landowner that flies his plane up to Fort Campbell and picks up the soldiers and flies them to his private duck club. And, and it's something we don't really, no offense, want the media there. We just want these soldiers, sit around a campfire and be able to, if they want to talk about things, and just be an outlet. And the main thing, too, which it shocks me, is, how appreciative, they don't think anybody cares about them. And to shake your hand and to make this opportunity for them, it's an awesome thing to be a part of.
Don't let me get out of this in a minute without talking about Moment of Freedom too.
Yeah,
it goes hand in hand with it. But how can they find out? How can the wounded soldiers find out more about their opportunities through this agency?
They can call the regional office. Typically, through Fort Campbell, the Warrior Transition Battalions, we do our active duty, and there's a lot of nonprofits too that we've been helping out with, trying to make avenues. We do some work with the Wounded Warrior Project also when there's opportunities, and they have veterans that we get a hold of. But the bulk of the stuff right now that we're doing are for the active duty out of Fort Campbell.
Okay, all right. And there are several wounded groups out there, or veteran groups out there, correct?
Correct.
And it can, wounded soldiers are where we'll go there. So now you have also something called Moment of Freedom, and somebody named Shane Hall that we all respect and we're and thinking about. But what is a Moment of Freedom, and how does that sort of tie in with what we do with wounded soldiers?
And that was something, being lucky enough to be a part of the outreach for all these years. And I've known Shane for a while, but I really got to know him a couple of years ago when the commission filled his position as doing contract work for the Moment of Freedom. And of course, Shane's in a wheelchair, and, full of life and ideas and inspiration. But it was something, to make wheelchair accessible hunting opportunities and fishing opportunities.
Which and let me correct myself then. It's not just for wounded soldiers at all. It's for
anybody
anybody that's in a
Correct.
hand. That's right.
And, and that was something, you get so much going on, you start thinking about stuff, and you're like, Shane, you're 1,000% right. We do a lot of stuff for a lot of people, but this is a group that nobody, we have some fishing piers and we have some duck blinds
Right.
here. Nothing, a smattering. And, Jason's done a phenomenal job on getting the website. It's got the GPS coordinates. There's dozens of hunting and fishing opportunities now in which somebody in a wheelchair can basically, find the coordinates. It'll put them in touch with, the manager or whoever is responsible for that, and start having that opportunity, which, something that we needed, we got to do,
And I think we got waterfowl hunts that come up and get drawn for that will help them out. And
Yeah, I know Old Hickory, Cheatham. I know Jeff Martin over there at Reelfoot's made a lot of opportunities. Bogota, a lot of waterfowl. Matter of fact, on the Beasley Buffalo Ridge Refuge, we're putting a Moment of Freedom blind in on it. We're going to put a real nice food plot in there, and it's someplace, open with a statewide season. Somebody in a wheelchair with a helper wants to go hunt, they can have at it.
is all that under Jason? Is that under the outreach, or where did you find that when you?
Yeah, you can find that under the outreach, or I think it's under outreach, but momentofreedom.org will take you right to it.
Yeah, it's an awesome program.
And this is the map. If you're watching online, you can see the different blinds for deer and turkey and where they're located across the state. And you got your waterfowl tab and your boating and fishing access tab there too.
Yeah, and Shane's even been working in Region 3. They're talking about now even a trout stream accessible for wheelchairs.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome stuff.
And there's an opportunity to donate if you feel like you want to donate to the program. You can do it right there on our website.
And that's something too. It's not cheap to build these structures, to make them up to the proper specifications. So any donations would certainly help.
All right. Well, Shane, we all think a lot about Shane and think about Shane and really appreciate all the work Shane has done with us. And I know you do a lot with it too, Donald. As much as you've been around these handicap accessible sites, do the folks that come and hunt them have to get somebody to come and help them along, or are they all independent enough to come there? Is it a combination of all of it?
It's a combination. I mean, some people are more mobile than others, and things such as that. But the main thing is there is the opportunity there.
It's there though to help whatever situation.
And honestly, I think Tennessee's going to be the leader in the nation in this the Moment of Freedom. And I think other state agencies have already recognized the need, and they're starting to pick up on what we're doing, which, for Shane to, be instrumental in starting something like that is pretty awesome.
And a lot of folks know Shane from the National Wild Turkey Federation. Some great stuff he's done with them also there. So anyway, all right, let's talk about one other thing at least, Donald, whatever else you have in mind, and that's something called toys. Now, we're a ways away from toys, and at some time we're going to get a young lady named Lacey Lane on here to talk about it, but it's Tennessee Outdoor Youth Summit. There's been some changes in it. It's one of the best camps that's ever been held for the outdoors as far as I'm concerned. Certainly in Tennessee, I've never seen anything like it, Donald. What is it?
Yeah, and this was my first year to be a part of it too, and until you actually experience something, you don't know what to to think about it, but it was absolutely awesome. Both my kids went, and I've got two girls, and the first thing I asked them after we left, I said, y'all want to go back? And it was no doubt about it. They're in. They want to come back next year. It's for a child, a high school age that would, even thinking about wanting to pursue a career in the outdoors or the wildlife, the stuff that they get to do. It's a week-long camp. They start at 8 o'clock in the morning, and some of the classes aren't done, till 12 o'clock at night. Everything from burning off fields. You got to go back to work just so you can get rested up. But they get, have the canine units out there. They go out and do prescribed burns. They go shocking, electrofishing, go bow fishing at night. They run, commercial netting gear.
Jug fishing?
Yeah, jug fishing. There's so much stuff that our agency's involved in that people don't have any idea.
Archery, pistol shooting,
they even
rifle shooting.
We do stuff with bats. They go to caves at night with thermal imaging and watch the bats come out of the caves, and and just to monitor that, and endless stuff. It's a week long. It's a hoot.
Now, this does cost some money. We're giving you a way advance notice because it won't be till next June or July.
July, yeah.
And we'll get Lacey back on there and Donald too. But cost what, like $300, and there's a scholarship opportunity. And I don't want to put you on the spot too
Yeah,
far.
I'm thinking it's around $350. But it's
Okay.
a week-long camp. You come in on a Sunday
Get
and
fed.
leave on a Friday
Got a
or
place to
Saturday.
stay.
Yeah.
Now, we're used to it. If they're watching it and they've seen it for years, they go, oh, yeah, there's that place over there in Southside in Montgomery County, but that's not there anymore.
Yeah. And this year, it looks like the same place where we have the Outdoor Woman, the 3-day workshop up in Crossville, trying to, move it across the state, make it a
Sure.
little more feasible for kids, in other parts of the state. So this year, we're looking at going to the Clyde York 4-H Center. They got a tremendous
Near
facility.
Crossville?
Yeah. It's up on the plateau. It'll be a little cooler. They got well over 100+ acres there, a couple of nice-sized lakes, shooting range, tremendous staff. UT Knoxville, it's one of their places, and it's an awesome
Maybe
camp.
last year I talked to them myself a little bit about fishing. Maybe this year they can actually go riding real fishing in one of those cool little lakes.
Yeah, that's what, for our Outdoor Woman, we go fly fishing. We also do the regular, the introductory to fishing, and also the advanced fishing. Got all kinds of fish in the lake. So it's an awesome facility. So pretty excited about it.
And you'll be seeing more, and there'll be a lot of that on the website a little bit later in the year. Donald, any other things come to mind that may not be on the website now that they need to be looking for in the months ahead between now and next spring?
Get these kids out. There's going to be coming up, a lot of our wildlife management areas are going to be having youth-only hunts coming up. Some of them are even before, the traditional young sportsman. We even already had some, youth deer hunts for the kids only. A lot of them, encompass some neat cookouts, and regardless if you get a deer or not, just to get them outside, get them away from these computers and away from the phones a little while and let them be kids again.
Well, what about as far as mentors? You have them there, but can parents come to the hunts like the Beasley hunt? Are parents there, or are they encouraged to leave their kids and let the mentors take it from there?
No, I think, to have that role model and to have that parental figure, we do provide mentors, and I've mentored, a ton of kids over the years, and I'm happy to do it. But if, I've had moms and dads both, they may not know anything about it, but that's something, we have the safety harnesses. We take them right to the tree stand. If they're not comfortable with the tree stand, we have ground blinds. We have 3D deer there. It shows them. That's the thing we were getting back to the hunter education aspect of it, where they go and they have some knowledge about it, but then where you reiterate the whole time they're there, we're going to have a blast. We're going to do it in a safe, ethical manner. But I think it's, regardless, you'll have grandfathers with their granddaughters there. Just somebody in that family structure, even a neighbor, if they feel comfortable, or their aunts or their uncles or whoever, that they can bond on, and, hopefully they'll have a good experience there. And then, hey, let's check out Cheatham WMA, or let's, somebody get a piece of property and build up that bond and perpetuate it and continue to take these kids.
Okay, and I know you mentioned ducks a while ago, but waterfowl is a part of it too. Will there be some good waterfowl hunts this year?
Yeah, and I know they do quite a few, in West Tennessee. And actually, one thing too we do for fallen soldiers there at Cheatham Wildlife Management Area, and the second Saturday of February, when they always give us that youth-only duck hunt, we partner with Delta Waterfowl, and Daniel Greer. He was
Thank you. Yeah,
a good friend of the agencies. Was a firefighter. He was a Marine that lost his life. And so out of respect for him, the fire department comes out. We set up the tents. Delta Waterfowl feeds them. They get a duck call. And we'll take, 50, 60 kids duck hunting that day. And, if actually, like I said, with the colder weather, and, we've had some pretty good duck hunts, especially for Middle Tennessee.
It seems like the kids get one of the best days of the year. Or
I think they need to open the refuge. I'm all about it,
There'd be a lot of people to be along with you, Donald, on that. I've heard that before, too. All right, Jason, anything else?
Do you want to elaborate on the BOW in Crossville, the Crossville event? You didn't talk a whole lot about that. Yep, we're running out of time.
Well, we can
Tomorrow's another day.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's another day. Donald, you do wonderful work for the agency, and you've introduced a lot of people, not just kids, a lot of people to the outdoors.
No, it's awesome.
So
Hopefully a whole lot more.
Hopefully a whole lot more before it goes. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Todd.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Donald, for coming in. Or
Yeah.
Donald gets a T-shirt.
Yeah, he does.
We're going to
And
give him a T-shirt because he
we'll
came
give
in
more
here.
of those away in future shows. But thanks for watching. Make sure you go to our website, check out under the outreach section just for kids, and then also under outreach is the BOW stuff, and fill out an application, and hopefully you'll get drawn for this hunt and other hunts, and just get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
It's just tnwildlife.org. It's that easy
Yep.
to have a good time. We'll see you next week.
All right. See y'all. Thank y'all.